Hey guys, what is up? Welcome inside the Guilty as Charged podcast. Really excited about a special interview today with Fayetteville State cornerback Josh Williams, who is joining me today. This is our first prospect interview of the process. So, Josh, can't thank you enough for taking the time to join me today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Like I said, first prospect interview of the process for us. You, of course, have the Senior Bowl coming up next week. So, what are you kind of working on up until that point? And what are you hoping to show some of those coaches and GMs and scouts down there in Mobile next week?
Man, just been doing a lot of decompressing and stuff this week as far as training. A lot of stretching. A lot of movement drills, things like that. And when I'm going down there, my plan is just to show them what I already know I can do. I know I can play, with the best of them, and I know I can do more than just survive out there. I know I can thrive, make plays, and I'm excited to show these guys, how good I really am. Coming from a D2 like Fayetteville State.
Yeah, you mentioned the D2 Fayetteville State. For those who are unfamiliar, of course, is an HBCU. And there have been some great players in the NFL coming from the HBCUs recently. Of course, most notably Darius Leonard. What would you kind of tell people is what's it like playing for a school like Fayetteville State, and how do you feel like it has prepared you for the NFL and training for the NFL in the next few months?
Well, I can tell you it's a lot different than a lot of school these guys go to, and I feel like that might be one of the better things that I've experienced. I had a good sense of comradeship going there. I
Mhm.
had a family. It was really close knit. Never felt like I was in a locker room with strangers. It felt like those are guys that I'm gonna know for the rest of my life and speak to for the rest of my life. And a lot of guys probably don't get that experience in college. Going out there and playing football with guys that you actually like truly do care about. It's just a totally different feeling, and going out there with just people you consider a teammate and you keep it at that. So, I'm blessed to have had the experience I did.
Yeah, I think I have never been to an HBCU. I think that's a super interesting thing. I'm curious to get your thoughts. Obviously, Deion Sanders has made a ton of waves down there at Jackson State. Recently landed, the number one recruit in the country. Are you kind of feeling that change with Dion down there in terms of like maybe a little bit more attention on the HBCU at D2 level, or is it kind of status quo down there at Fayetteville State? Do you think?
Oh no, I definitely feel like just what he's doing is not just impacting Jackson State is most people probably do think there's just even from my experience a lot more recruits actually putting like HBCUs in their when they're doing their top fives, top three, whatever. And a lot of times I've seen these guys, especially these past few months, with these recruits announcing their where they're going, their commitment letters. They're choosing HBCUs, and it's not always just Jackson State. It's all across the country. You look at FAMU, Alabama State,
Yeah.
Fayetteville State. A lot of guys are really like seriously considering HBCUs, and they're starting to see. You don't necessarily have to go to Alabama, Clemson, or Oklahoma to go to the next level.
No, I think that's spot on. And I have always felt that, if you can play and if you have the traits that NFL teams are looking for you, then they'll find you, right? And I think we are seeing that at the Senior Bowl a little bit more this year too. I was listening to Jim Nagy on the Athletic Football Show talking about how a lot of their offensive linemen this year are from smaller schools. Do you feel like that is does playing at a smaller school provide like a chip on your shoulder, or is that not really something that you have thought about yet?
I mean, people might think it's a chip on my shoulder, but I've never been one to think because I went to Fayetteville State that that means I can't keep up with the rest of the bigger school guys.
Right.
I always felt like I was the same, if not better than those guys, and that's not to take away from him. That's just the belief I have in myself, my abilities, and my God-given talent. So, I don't ever feel like, the runt of the group or whatever. I still, I feel like me. I feel like Joshua Williams, a player who goes out there, plays hard, and plays well. So, you
I
know.
love that mentality, man. You mentioned some of your God-given talents. I was reading an article about you, and apparently you were quite the track star in high school. What was that experience like for you? And I saw that you did the 100-meter dash. What do you think your time would be at now if you had to go back and do a little track work?
Well, I didn't get to run track in college. I'm sure my dad would have loved me running track in college. He was my track coach. He was a track
Okay.
runner himself. So, I can't give you a certain time, a set time, but man, if I was running a 10:6 or whatever at 17, I don't think it's hard to believe I'd be running like a 10:1 maybe at 22. Um, you know, who I think honestly with the training and things that these track runners do nowadays, I could probably with my belief and my skill set that the work I would have put in, I could have seen myself running in the Olympics or who knows. So
Was you mentioned your dad being the track coach? Was track your first love? And when did you really get into the possibility of playing football at the next level?
no, track was not my first love. My first love was always football.
Hmm.
My dad's from St. Kitts. That's a small island in the Caribbean. So he
Okay.
wanted me to play soccer and run track, but I always wanted to play football. So I played football and started running track too. And I would say I always had plans of playing football at the next level. I'm sure as every little boy in America does, but I really did believe that from a young age. I don't think there was a time in my life where I was like really doubting it, even with the adversity I went through, with being not really being recruited highly out of high school and having to go to prep school, stuff like that. I always still felt like there was a way because at the end of the day, I knew I was 6'3", I could cover, and I was fast. So I knew somebody was going to recognize the skill if they had eyes. And, I'm blessed that people came across me and have started to take recognition of some of the things that I can do. And I'm blessed to be in the position I am now. So, you
Yeah.
know.
Good stuff, man. I think that's a great attitude to have. Of course, you are from Fayetteville. You mentioned a little bit of your recruiting process. Did you ever really consider, like, throughout that process, did you ever really consider going anywhere else besides Fayetteville State?
Absolutely. But when I was only D2 eligible. So when I was coming
Mm,
out, I it was it wasn't a hard decision because the teams at the time that I had offers from that were D2, they weren't winning as much as Fayetteville State had just won the previous year, and I figured I'd be at home. My mother went to Fayetteville State, and a plethora of aunts and uncles also did. So it wasn't that hard of a decision. I went to Fayetteville State, did a lot of things, had a lot of good coaches, and made a lot of great friends. And I wouldn't change anything if I could. So I'm really happy with the way it played out.
yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this. Of course, I grew up, or I was in high school rather, when J. Cole was really at his peak. Obviously, being from Fayetteville, have you had the chance to meet J. Cole, go to a concert? Do you feel
Right.
like his legacy has really had an impact on Fayetteville?
It definitely has had an impact on Fayetteville. Anytime I go somewhere, they ask, "Have I met J. Cole?" And
Yeah.
crazy thing is, this seems like I'm the only one in Fayetteville who hasn't. You know,
Okay.
even somehow my dad ran into him, and my dad doesn't even
Oh,
listen to rap music. So, he's definitely a big part of just the culture in Fayetteville, and it just shows you there's a lot of talent that comes out of the city, regardless of some of the factors and negative things coming out of the city. So,
did did your dad recognize him, or did he do the typical, like, "Hey, do you know who this person is?" and like send a picture to you?
man, what he did was, he was at the skating rink and he was just skating around like my dad always does. And J. Cole, he's at the skate rink because he's just a real down to earth guy. He's just dapping up everybody as he's skating through the rink, and dap my dad up. And somebody apparently asked him, like, "Do you know who that guy is?" And my dad said he had no clue. And he came back to the house and told me. I was like, "What? Like, you didn't know who J. Cole was?" That's still funny to this day. We still laugh about that. So
that's amazing. My parents have a ton of stories like that. One time my mom and dad were traveling, and my mom sent me a picture of Dwight Howard when Dwight was playing for the Magic, and she was like, "Do you recognize this really tall guy?" And I was like, "Mom, that's Dwight Howard. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
man.
love stories like that.
Yeah.
I want to dive in a little bit to kind of your play here. You mentioned being 6'3". Obviously, I think you have great length, size, speed at the position. Is there anybody in the NFL or past Fayetteville corners that you have kind of studied and modeled your game after?
When I say, I watch almost every single player, I mean it, like, it goes from Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, the list goes on. But like if I just had to, pick, past guys or people that I grew up just watching and always liking, I was a big Darrelle Revis fan. Darrelle Revis and Sean Taylor, man, those are my guys. So, if there's any player I watch the most, it'd probably be those two, just Darrelle Revis, Sean Taylor.
Awesome. I love that one. And then one of my other questions I always like to ask is some potential receivers that you're looking forward to going up against in the next level. If you had to give 2 or 3 names, who would you say?
I'd love to go up against Devontae Adams. He's just a technician. I'd love to go against him. Who else? Cooper Kupp. You see what he's doing this year. Yeah, I'd love to go against him, and just the chance to see Tyreek Hill up in person and witness that speed. Man, I love competition, and I would love to accept that challenge. So, I'm excited just to be in the league or have the potential to be in the league and face these guys. So every week, whoever's on the roster, man, I'm gonna line down, play my best against them, and do what I do. So, those are just 3 that that's kind of highlighted.
Now the Tyreek Hill one, obviously, as a Chargers fan, is interesting because if you get drafted by the Chargers, you play him twice a year. You think you could beat Tyreek in a race?
Man, if you would have asked me this a couple months ago, I probably said it during the football season or something crazy, but I would have said, yeah, but man, you saw that run. I saw him this weekend. I was like, man, nobody could have got an angle on him, and I would love to race him though. I would never back down from a race. So, if Tyreek Hill comes across from this, I'm down here in Miami, Florida, training at Pete Bommarito's. So, I would love to line down a race and find out.
There you go. Maybe after their, I assume they're going to win this weekend. Maybe after their Super Bowl run, they can make that happen. That game was crazy this weekend, wasn't it?
Crazy, man. Like, might have been one of the best games I've ever seen in my life, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, same. Definitely one of the highest quarterback level playoff games that I've ever seen in my life. And just was great to watch as a casual football fan. Josh, this has been awesome, man. Can't thank you enough for taking the time to join me today. Wish you nothing but the best down in this process. Obviously, Chargers fans, check him out next week in Mobile. If you can follow him on Twitter as well, at Will Official, excuse me. Josh, anywhere else that Chargers fans can find you if they want to give you a follow?
Instagram is the same thing, J Willie Official, JWILLI Official. Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
Yeah, love it. Thanks again, man. Wish you nothing but the best. Hope you stay healthy throughout the whole process, and obviously be able to accomplish your big goal, get into the NFL. Best of luck, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.